let's dive into some key things you need to creating an expert advisor. So first off, guys, open up your MetaTrader, go to MetaQuotes, and from MetaQuotes, open up a new file right here. And from there, you can go next. You can name it to whatever you like, and just hit next, next, next all the way through. So I already did that, and I called it the EA Basics. So you'll see in my screen, like a little bit bigger for you guys. So for here, guys, there's just some things I wanted to talk to you guys about. So when you're making an expert advisor, you're going to have, most likely, you're going to have a bunch of indicators. And the indicators are going to basically tell you how you're going to be entering in your trade. So for example, and this is not going to be code proper, but it's going to just illustrate the basics. So if, for example, if you want to do a trade like this, like you want the MACD, for example, if you have the MACD at a certain value, so if the MACD is greater than 0, for example, and the RSI, just an example, is greater than 70, okay, and let's say, and you want the, oh, sorry, wrong one, and you want the moving average below the current close or the current high price or whatever. Doesn't matter. Right? So the current or one back, whatever. And if this is true, you'll enter in your trade, okay? So then you'll have your order send, right? So just order send. So this is an entry requirement. So I haven't created these, I'm just showing you as an example. But this is an entry requirement. So what I usually, if someone's creating a simple robot, they'll have an entry requirement, a stop loss, and a take profit. So when you're doing this, what can happen is that you'll enter in bad positions, because even if these three things happen, it doesn't indicate a safe trade or a high probability trade. Just three things. So what you can do is, when creating your first, this is your first beginner trading bot, have your first layer here, and if that's true, you go through another layer, right? You're like, okay, if step 1 is true, let's do this. If step 1 is true, let's make sure that the next step in creating this would be candlesticks. So now we're going to check if the open and the close are on a bullish settlement, or check if there's a doji candle, check if there's a hammer candle, which you guys can program yourself. So now you have a secondary check on it to say if the MACD does this, RSI does this, and if the moving average is below the close. Now this is a very simple beginner way of programming it, but it's easy to understand. If this is true, then the next follow steps can do. You'd be like, hammer candle, make it a bull statement. If it's a function, you're like hammer. I'm sorry, hammer. If it's a function, make it a function, make it a bull one, and make it say true. If that's true, then we'll enter into our next step. What you can make is all one line of code, or you can just make it step by step like this. And then if it's a hammer candle, check to see if a ATR is high too. So your next if statement can be ATR, or you can just put it in one line. But what you want to do is have multiple checks, so you're just not blindly entering a trade. And you want to possibly limit the amount of orders you're sending in, or you want to do 5 limit orders, 3 buy stops, or whatever you're combining. But you just want to make sure that your entry to the trade is evaluated by multiple steps, okay? Once you have it done by multiple steps, then you can have like a risk profile. So we have when it comes to our trading robot, right, we're going to have a couple steps. We're going to have our entry phase. 2, you have like a risk phase, what's happening risk-wise. 3 will be, and this is not all in one order. This is me telling you, you have trade management phase. Management. So trade management. Another one will be exiting. Another one will be news phase. Think of it, news, and also re-entry. You can put another one in there for re-entry, just in case the market keeps on going. And also, it can be losing phase. So, give me a second. So you guys can set up these type of things right here. So when you're creating your expert advisor, you can put this in like brackets like this. Right? See this time function? You can just delete timer function and just put entry, an entry phase, a risk phase. And when you're doing that, for example, you can give your robot more personality, more intelligence. So when things are happening incorrectly or bad, there's a risk phase, there's a losing phase, there's a movement of that. You actually can put in here like for entry, this could be a sub entry right here, right? Like a plan A would be like moving of pending orders. Okay, I'm not trying to do anything else. A movement of pending orders. Okay, and B would be movement of pending orders or deleting of pending orders. Even for me, when I program my own personal robots, I have these rules set up like this, so I can, hit was it F2? F2 is kind of like bookmark, and bookmark my entire program out, so I can kind of read it like a book. How am I entering the beginning? How am I getting into the secondary phase? How am I managing all this? How am I handling the exiting? How am I handling the news? How am I handling the entry? How am I handling the losing phase? And losing could be, let's say you're in a bad trade and you're about to get stopped out. But in this way, just say how you're being stopped out. I'll give you an example. Just say your trade enters, let's say at 12 noon. Okay. So at 12 noon, your trade enters. But if the market goes down immediately, for example, right? Just say the first 5 candles on the 15-minute, whatever, skyrockets down or goes up, whatever, and it's about to knock you out, right? What you can do is put a rule in there. If the market retraces within the first 5 candles, 80% of your stop loss, it will X you it out earlier and you'll save 20% of a potential loss. You can do stuff like that to protect yourself. But if when it comes to losing, if it's losing and it's like been 15 hours or 24 hours, right? So 24 hours, if losing trade, move SL up at 15%, something like that. So 14%, 15%. It modifies your stop loss. So if you're in the red for 24 hours, your stop loss is like right down here. It'll move it up a little bit. So if it keeps on trending down, you lose a little bit less. And those are just some smarter tactics. Like you also do for re-entry. Like if you're up 500 pips here on the entry, you'll enter in so you say you're entering in on a micro or a mini, and then here you can enter on a micro and a mini, whatever, vice versa. So if you're at 500 pips, you're on a 0.01, you can enter in a 0.02 or 0.03 on the next entry. And then that can be part of your trade management and how you grid it out or how you layer your trades. And doing this will give you so much more complexity and more intelligence to your robot. So if there's a high spike in the ATR or a high spike when it comes to volume or the MACD, RSI, you can have multiple rules and how it's managed during those trades, during those environments. Let's say the moving average goes flat or the market goes flat. Maybe you can make a entry position saying, "Hey, warning, market's flat, don't enter," or "Hey, it's Sunday or Saturday, we don't want to enter in that crypto trade." This is an example. But making these type of rules and breaking out your trader like this and put them into brackets like this right here, like entry phase, all that stuff, it will just make your robot have more complexity and also making it more intelligent. So you can either repair your trades better, fix your trades, and understand how your bot trades. This is a basic breakdown that you can put into MQL4 or MQL5 for your trading robot. But if you have any questions or comments, guys, let me know. This is just a breakdown how to create basic rules for your expert advisor. And yeah, have a nice day, guys. Peace.